Welcome back. You're still watching The African Perspective here on SABC News. Dr. Monyae is still with us in the studio, and we'll return to him in just a moment. But first, a look at some of your tweets. This is, of course, about your perspective. So we've put out a poll. We're asking you, is China colonizing Africa? So this is what some of you are saying. I know most of you are saying yes, 82% saying yes, 18% saying no. And we'd like more of your views. Perhaps tell us the reasons why, because there are views across the continent. It's not just in Zambia, which we've done a case study of. We've seen it in Malaysia. We've seen it in Guinea. Now, we want to hear why you think this is the case. Sergeant Lukele saying China has colonized Africa. Question is, what for? What are we getting in return? And there are other tweets also coming through. Question is, are African countries investing China's loans wisely? On the other hand, maybe we are being colonized, a thought for our leaders. And this is really what it comes down to, isn't it? The lexicon that we're using. As I mentioned, this is a subject that really concerns a lot of African countries. The Malaysian Prime Minister talking about the unequal relationship, saying that we really don't want a situation where there's a new version of colonialism. More importantly, Dr. Monyae, civic participation on these decisions. Is there a mechanism, an instrument that is there in place to allow our citizens to say yay or nay?
In our case, I mean, we are a democracy, and therefore, civil society, I mean, it goes without saying, it's supposed to be involved. And the issue here, it's not much about what Chinese are doing. It's about what are we doing as Africans, as leaders. What kind of deals do we sign? How do we go in terms of negotiating? China, like any other country, will come to defend its own interests, to advance it. So that's exactly what Americans do. The British do the same. And therefore, China is not behaving contrary to all other states. They advance their national interests. Our leaders are supposed to do the same. In a word, is it dead colonialism, as some suggest? I don't think so.
All right. Unfortunately, we are going to have to leave it there. Thank you so much, Dr. David Monyae. And I ask that because the IMF has said 15 African countries are in a very serious situation, that there could be a debt crisis. But we'll continue this discussion on social media, and as we move from David Monyae, who is talking to us on our first installment of African Perspective, unpacking some of those various narratives of the African story. This time we take a look at other dynamics.